Welcome to Divine Voice out of Africa, Marriage Vocations. Last time I promised you to bring what Africa youth needs to hear. Today it is a great privilege for me to be with a brother, Angolan born Maris brother. Welcome and greetings, brother.
Thank you very much.
From the book of Exodus, when God called Moses to send him to the Egypt, he gave him the name. Can't you too also have a name? Can you tell us who you are?
Once again, thank you very much. I am called Cornelio Mulambi Katundela. And as you said, I came from Angola. I'm just first year here at Miki.
That's great. The great apostle of Jesus.
Thank you.
That's very wonderful. Nothing is permanent. And don't stress yourself too much because no matter how bad the situation to you. I said this because you said you come from just a few days and first years. Gradually, the journey will reach to the end. How did you encounter for Maris brothers at the schools?
I encountered Maris brother at the school. It was some 12 years ago when I was still doing my primary school. And one of the brothers in Angola who is responsible for vocation promotion, is the one I met him at our parish. But then on those days, I just got to know, I was just used to hear about priests and the sisters in the church. It was something new to me. And once I met him, he explained what they do. And I was so much impressed in the way that he related how the congregation started. And with that, I started having interest to join them. Then we kept in touch. They could appear twice in a year to visit us. And with that, I polished my discernment that I would like also to join this congregation, which is called Maris Brother of the Schools.
That's great. You have said it very well, Master Brothers of Schools. Now, currently, what shaped you really to feel that love, that passion to join Master Brothers of the School?
As I've said before, first I was just used to the priests and also the sisters in the church. I never knew the existence of the Maris Brothers. But when I joined them, I could see that the way they treat, the way they relate with their students, even with the one that they form, is very, very different from others. That's what impressed me. That communion, that unity is what kept me going and also discerning and still wanting to serve God as a Maris brother.
That's great. That Rabbi Mason Champagne is saying that when you want to educate a child or children, well, you must have them equal. And you have said it very well that they are that encountering, that communion. So far, what is your blessings? Each day it is a blessing to one's life. How so far, what is your blessings in a marriage life?
Talking about blessings are so many, as you have said that each and every day we are always blessed just to be here among you, to be in this diversity, knowing people from different countries and interacting. That's a very richness, which also is a blessing. And also the information that he gives to me is also a blessing. And many others. Of course, they are countless. If you start counting them, I don't think we will be ending this small, how can I call it? The small interview. Yes.
Obviously. Yeah. There is a famous quotation in Mary's life is that to become a brother is to undertake your God to be holy. What do you say about this statement?
Well, our founder has stated it very well that to become a Maris brother, you undertake a God to become a holy. And also, he said that you have to encounter God in whatever you do, in whatever you do. And if I remember very well, he could even pray while he was in the noise of the streets of Paris, as the capital or the capital city of France. But my taking on this statement is that every day I have to acknowledge that I'm a human being, and the human being is made up of both positive and negative. And to become holy doesn't mean that I have to pray always. No, it's to acknowledge that I'm weak, I have my limitations. Therefore, I want to seek for forgiveness, and also always to try to be good and try to do good to others, such that even the moral law says that do good or do what would you like that others to do also to you. Don't do what you do not want others to do to you. That's my taking points on that very statement.
That's great to hear. There is a golden law: do to others what you'd like to do. So far, I have said it very well that our life bears to that golden law to do what others also they can do to you, you do to them. Then now, how in this pandemic COVID-19, when you go back to the Old Testament, we have been hearing these plagues, these pandemics. For you in this pandemic COVID-19, how are you responding to God's call?
Well, the pandemic, since it started in 2019, just toward the end, it somehow brought certain chaos in the world. But of course, how would I respond to the Lord during this pandemic? I always pray for those who are affected, and also it's a time of reflecting as well during this pandemic, because I remember that when I was doing my community experience in Manisa, we had no student, of course, but we encountered a lot of things that people are suffering, are suffering too much because of this pandemic, which brought some people up added to of course, their work, what they used to do. Now, because of the pandemic, they were told to leave. So there are so many things. So it's a time to sit down as well, and to do a self introspection, and also to pray not only for them and also for myself, mainly for those who are affected, and also to be more in solidarity with those who are affected. That's just praying for them, because I can't do anything with the pandemic that the world is living. The only thing that I have to do is to pray for those who are affected, and also try to, in as much as possible, to maintain the rules that are established in order to avoid so much contagions.
Thank you very much for this stand on that pandemic COVID-19. There is one psychologist known as Abraham Maslow elaborated the hierarchy of needs. For you, how are you responding, or how are you trying to achieve your self-actualization as the last stage according to Abraham Maslow?
Well, as you have said about the Maslow, talk about the hierarchy of needs, and we found in that hierarchy of needs different needs. We have the basic and the basic, the psychological, which lead a person to self-actualization. For me, as you said that in this your last stage, formation is always a life journey, and that self-actualization is something that is constant, something that is constant. So I work on myself in the sense that I will achieve what I want to be in life. And what do I want to really to be in life? Just to be a good man. In which sense? In the sense that you pray to God, of course, and also my living should be influencing others, but that influence should not be a negative influence, should be a positive influence unto others. That's my point of answering your question about that self-actualization.
That's great. See, the question is saying that what has been your experience in this formation journey?
My experience in this formation journey has been a lot of encountering of different people. In my own country, it was like at provincial level. I could encounter people from different provinces who come together and we start the formation together. And which is a richness because diversity is richness. And then after finishing the aspirant, I went for the postulants. Of course, it was not a new environment, also a new mindset because before in the aspirants I was just a national at the national level. Now at the postulants I've started engaging in a relationship with people from different countries, which is I found that is very rich, and also I always acknowledge the role of the formaters because they have been helping me in a different way, especially because discerning is a life process, which starts I would say which starts maybe from the time that we are born. It's only end. We only finish, I think, discerning when we die. Every day we discern, and most of the time we are helped by our formators. Which is why I find that it's really a blessing to have someone who's there for you in order to help you how to do things and how to look at things and how how to understand certain things that maybe for me or for you they are not clear. You always ask, you always have a companion of those people who can always seek to for what is good for you. That's what I can say about the formation in so far I am going through.
Having said the formation, there's young ones there in the parishes. Do you think that they can, or they feel they can answer to God's call? What wisdom will you offer to them, those who would like to become Maris brothers particularly?
There are so many. There are so many. I think so. Who would like to join the Maris brother? And starting on my own experience, I would like to advise for those who would like to join the Maris brother. Please do so. It's a wonderful congregation. It's not. It's also a life of self-sacrifice. As each and every area of life, we always have sacrifice because life is about sacrifice. We need to sacrifice. You are also invited to join, to be a Maris brother, to work with young people, to educate them in order to become good citizens and also good Christians. That's our aim as being Maris brother of the schools.
That's great. My last point, I want to ask you, what triggers would you like to leave behind?
Well, the legacy that I would like to leave behind is not such a big thing, as I've already said that being a Maris brother is being a apostle of the youth, and being a apostle of the youth is to make those youth good citizens. And most likely nowadays we don't talk much of preaching; we talk of living by examples. I would like to live as a legacy that my being among the youth, my being among the little ones should influence them in a positive way, such that when they see me, they at least say that brother is a good man, and that should influence them to also become good people and good citizens.
You have said it very well, and you reminded me the words of former president of Zimbabwe, Robert Mugabe. He said that if I have done things, you don't need to spend time explaining them, rather they will talk. For having this, do you have any last remark do you want to pass?
Well, as a last remark, I would like just to also say thank you for this little interview, because it's also maybe to be watched by many people, and they may come to know the Maris brother. At least they will have an idea who are they. That's just to be thankful for this opportunity that I was given in this Sunday morning.
Thank you very much, and you are most welcome. I know it is a sacrifice time you have given me. I don't take it granted. Thank you for having honored my invitation. And may God continue to bless you in your vocation journey. To our audience outside of here and those who will follow us who will across this video, thank you very much for having time to watch this video. May God bless you in whatever you are doing. See you the next time.
Proclaim the goodness of the Lord. Arise, all you people of the Lord. Shine in the dark to brighten the whole world, that the people may see the light of God.
You are the light, you are the light.
We are the light of the whole world.
And we are married,
agents of transformation and development of humanity. We the love of God and love of neighbor. Though coming from different towns and doctrines, we complement and strengthen each other.
you are the light, you are the light.
We are the light of the whole world. We are agents of liberation.
And we are married,
Agents of transformation and development of humanity. Respect for life and lawful authority, and colleagues and concern for the poor, integrity and generosity, patriotism